أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome everybody to our Wednesday class. Let me choose a student straight away. Let me choose a young Nasra N52. So let me just find her. Here we are. No, that's not N52. Okay, N51. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, darling. Would you be able to read this dua in Arabic for me, please?
A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma
Okay, not to worry. I'll lead you and you follow me, okay? A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim.
A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim.
Bismillahir rahmanir rahim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'an. Okay. And in English, please.
Oh Allah, I ask you for a
beneficial
knowledge.
Yes, it's a tongue twister, isn't it? Oh Allah, I ask you for beneficial knowledge. And it's from Ibn Majah, okay, the year 925, okay, after Hijrah. Okay, Jazakumullah sweetheart. If I can ask my co-host to mute that student for me, and we'll start with the class with Hiria. Okay, today we are going to continue in our revision of rules, and inshallah we'll finish all the revision that we're meant to be doing today. So let's go through the slides, okay? We didn't revise this because most of you, well, all of you do know your joined letters, okay? And we didn't revise this specifically because all of you do know all of your short vowels and their timing. We've covered this one with the vertical fatha, vertical kasra, and inverted dhamma. We've also done the sukoon, and we introduced within that lesson qalqala, okay, where we did the slight bounce on these, let me get my hand, on these 5 letters, qaf, ta, ba, jim, dal. They're known as qalqala letters, and if ever you see them with a sukoon on the top, you do a small bounce, okay? Duq, dhuq, okay? Farghab, farghab. Okay, so we've covered that slide already. Okay, this is one of the ones that we're going to cover today, mushaddad letters, okay? And if I can remind you, when we taught you, this was in lesson 13, tashdid, stressing, where we taught you that mushaddad means hardened. A letter with a shadda on top is called mushaddad, and it looks like, it's a small W-shaped sign, and it looks like this here. Okay, so if you go back to here, do you know what is shadda? This small W-shaped sign is the shadda. Do you know which letter is mushaddad? A letter that carries a tashdid, also known as a shadda, is known as a mushaddad letter. So here we'll have a mushaddad waw, a mushaddad dal, mushaddad dhal, and so on. Okay, and mushaddad letters are stressed, they're hardened. When you read them, you press down on them. Okay, so if I go through this example, a mushaddad letter indicates that there's 2 of those letters there. In Arabic, they just write the one letter and replace the second letter with a W. So this tells us that there are 2 vowels here. And the way to read them is, first of all, to bring the mushaddad letter and join it with the previous mutaharik letter and say guv. And then to bring the harakat that's with the mushaddad letter into play. So it becomes guvvi, guvvi, guvvirat, guvvirat. Again here, bring the mushaddad letter with the mutaharik letter, qad. And then bring the harakat with the mushaddad letter into play, qaddama, qaddama. This example here has two mushaddad letters, one straight after another. They aren't difficult to read if you take your time, okay, and you apply the same rules as I've just explained, okay. You take the first mushaddad letter, join it with the previous mutaharik letter. This is a ya, so this becomes a yad. Then you have to bring that harakat into play, but before you can do that, you know that there's another mushaddad letter that will have to join onto here. So this becomes yadhak, and then you bring the final harakat into play, yadhaka. And when you read it together, it becomes sayadhakaru, sayadhakaru. And that is the technique to employ when you encounter mushaddad letters. Just take your time and remember to press down. Okay, and that's as much revision that we need to do on mushaddad letters. We've done this noon ghunna and mim ghunna last week also. We've also done madda letters also. This is another lesson that we have to revise, which is known as the lean lesson. And if I can bring up the, yes, we covered this in lesson 16, soft elongation. And in that lesson, you were taught how to recognize a waw lean. When you see a waw sakin and it's preceded by a consonant carrying a fatha, then that's a waw lean. Okay. There's a waw sakin, is preceded, let me bring my hand back. There's a waw sakin, is preceded by a consonant with a fatha, that's a waw lean. Yo, yo, the sound is eased into the lean waw. Similarly with ya lean, if I just bring my page up a bit, recognition of ya lean. When ya sakin is preceded with a consonant carrying a fatha, it is known as ya lean. Here is a ya sakin, is preceded by a consonant with a fatha, then this is a ya lean, and the sound is eased into the ya. Bay, bay. Okay, so that's really all that you need to know about lean letters. They are waw and ya are the lean letters, okay, and they're known as letters of ease because the sound is eased into them. So this particular word here would be donsona, donsona, and this would be atena, atena. Okay, and that's all you need to revise with the lean. Okay, we did this yesterday and we did this yesterday also. We have done idgham revision and we have done this idgham revision also. Alif Zayda. Okay, this was covered in lesson 22. Yes, miscellaneous rules. Some words contain a blank alif after a maftu letter. A maftu letter is one that carries a fatha, either in between or at the end of a word. It must not be pronounced. Those alifs are called alif zayda and they're usually marked with a cross or a schoon. So if ever you are reading the grammar G, then you come across an alif with a cross on the top like this. It's very simple, you just don't read it, okay? And that's as much as I need to do with alif zayda in terms of revision. Okay, we did this yesterday. And we did this yesterday also. Okay. Mim makluba. Can you recognize the small meme after noon sakin or tanween? Okay. This is the meme that is being referred to. And do you know how to include it in pronunciation? Now let me remind you where we taught you this, and it was in lesson 22. I just have to scroll down to bring it up. Okay, here we are. In lesson 22, miniature meme was the title. Sometimes a small meme is written after nun sakin or tanween in the text. It is called meme makluba, okay? And it will be pronounced instead of nun sakin and tanween. Okay, now let me go back to here and then explain a little bit more. Sometimes when you are reading the Quran Majid, if I can just stop for a second, there is a young Tifo, A05. We don't need to see your video. Please switch it off. There is a meme here. Sometimes you will see this written in the Quran Majid. It will always be written straight after a nun sakin, like here, or a tanween, as in here. Okay, if ever it's written, it will always come after either a nun sakin or a tanween, and it will come before a ba. Now, if you look through these examples, you see there's a tanween here and there's a ba. Tanween here, ba. Nun sakin, ba. All of these examples, that's what you'll see. And the way that you need to pronounce it is, normally when you see a tanween, you make an sound with a n sound, okay? Same with the nun sakin, you would need to make a sound, okay? When you see the small meme, you have to make a sound instead, m sound, okay? So, for example, here, this would be tambutu, tambutu. Here, this would be mim buyutikum, mim buyutikum. And that's as much revision as we need to do on that. We'll encounter that later on today when we come to listening to the recitation and having a read. Okay, and then I also wanted to talk a little bit about waqf, and we'll be concentrating on waqf for the next 2 days also. So I wanted to start on that today. And because waqf, there are lots and lots of rules. There's a separate slides that we've got for it. Rules of waqf. Okay, so let me remind you where you were taught this, and that was in 21? Yes, in lesson 21, rules of waqf. Waqf means to stop or pause. During the recitation, pausing at the end of a meaningful sentence or a verse with a break of breath is called waqf. The correct way of pausing at various types of Quranic words is explained below. And in this lesson, we then taught you how you would read a word if you were going to carry on reading straight afterwards, and how you would read that word when you were going to pause. Okay, so if you wanted to revise, that's the lesson that we were doing. But let's go back to this here. And I'm going to go through just a few examples because we're going to encounter them today when we listen to the recording. The first one is here. When you're reciting and you're going to make a pause, make the last letter mute, make the last letter a sakin when it carries a fatha or kasra or dhamma. So, for example, if you were reading in the Quran Majid, let me just check something. Yes, everything is fine. If you were reading in the Quran Majid and you came across this combination of letters and you wanted to do a waqf, you would, instead of reading dhalika, you would say dhalik. You would make the gaf into a sakin, gaf, okay? Dhalik. Similarly, if you had this particular combination, instead of reading yomi, if you're going to do a waqf here, you would say yom. Okay, so you make the last letter mute when it carries a fatha or a kasra or a dhamma. Now I'm just going to, because I've been talking for a few seconds, let me just call somebody up and make sure that everybody can hear me. Assalamu alaikum, Tifl A18. Tifl A18.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, darling. Darling, have you been able to hear all the things that I've been saying?
Yes.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay, jazakumullah, sweetheart. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, that's one example. Let me go to another example that I want to cover. Mute the last letter if it carries a kasratain or a dhammatain. Okay, so if you were to, let me get my hand back here. If you were to find in the Grammar Jeed that you were reading and then you wanted to make a pause at this particular example, instead of reading Qur'anun, you would have to read Qur'an, Qur'an, because if you're going to pause on something that carries a dhammatain, you have to make the dhammatain into a schoon. Similarly, if you see a tanveen, okay, of kasra, okay, kasratain, instead of reading ma'dudatin, you would make that ta into a schoon ta, a sakin ta, and you would read it as ma'dudat, ma'dudat. Now, in a moment, when we go into the Grammar Jeed, you will see an example of these particular works, and then you'll understand maybe a little bit better and more clearer what is being explained here. And I do believe that there was one other, yes, okay. There will be no change in recitation if the word ends on a letter of elongation. So we're talking about ya madda, waw madda, alif madda, ya leen, or waw leen. Okay, so if you were reading and you wanted to make a pause at the end of this word, gafaru is how the word will be written, and then you would carry on reading straight afterwards if you were going to carry on. But if you wanted to pause, you would read it in exactly the same way. Gafaru, there's no change. Okay, similarly with the madda here, alif madda, banaha. At waqf, you'd also do banaha. And the last case here, similarly, there will be no change if the last letter already carries a schoon. So if you came across, say, for example, this combination here, qutilat. If you wanted to make a pause, you could leave it exactly as it is, qutilat. That's exactly how it would stay. Now, these are all examples, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to go now into part 1, and we'll see all of these things in action, okay? And in a moment, I'll play the recording. Now, I know we've covered lean letters and mushaddad letters. I haven't highlighted them in this particular text because it would have become overwhelming. I have highlighted, let me get my hand back, the meme maqluba that occurs here and here. But what I've highlighted here is when you listen, the reciter will stop. And I want you to notice when he stops on these highlighted letters, the way he stops and what he does with the harakat, okay? And other than the meme maqluba, all of the highlighted letters that you'll see are places where the reciter will pause, okay? There's just one, and it's this one here, okay? When the reciter pauses here, then he restarts, but he goes back to here. And that's because whenever you stop, it has to mean, have to be an appropriate place to stop. And then when you restart, it has to be at an appropriate place as well. And in his case, he chose to pause here, and then he restarted here. Okay, now enough of me talking. I'm now going to play the recording, and it will start from here, mathaluhum. So if you listen carefully and follow the words on the screen and look out for where the highlights are. Okay, and co-host, if the recording doesn't play, please interject and let me know, okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا فلما أضاءت ما حوله ذهب الله بنورهم وتركهم في ظلمات
مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا فلما أضاءت ما حوله ذهب الله بنورهم وتركهم في ظلمات
ذهب الله بنورهم وتركهم في ظلمات لا يبصرون
ذهب الله بنورهم وتركهم في ظلمات لا يبصرون
صم بكم عمي فهم لا يرجعون
صم بكم عمي فهم لا يرجعون
أو كصيب من السماء فيه ظلمات ورعد وبرق يجعلون أصابعهم في آذانهم من الصواعق حذر الموت
أو كصيب من السماء فيه ظلمات ورعد وبرق يجعلون أصابعهم في آذانهم من الصواعق حذر الموت
والله محيط بالكافرين
والله محيط بالكافرين
يكاد البرق يخطف أبصارهم كلما أضاء لهم مشوا فيه وإذا أظلم عليهم قاموا
يكاد البرق يخطف أبصارهم كلما أضاء لهم مشوا فيه وإذا أظلم عليهم قاموا
ولو شاء الله لذهب بسمعهم وأبصارهم
ولو شاء الله لذهب بسمعهم وأبصارهم
إن الله على كل شيء قدير
إن الله على كل شيء قدير.
Excellent. Okay, fantastic. Okay, right then. So I am now going to call a student to the mic, okay, and ask them to read. So let me just go to my list and find, first of all, let's go down the list a little bit here. A young Nasra N47. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Is that N47?
Yes, it is at 47.
It is, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Okay, sweetheart, if you could read from here, Mathaluhum, okay, but do your Dawood first of all, please.
I know it.
Okay.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا
Okay.
فلما أضاءت مهم لا
Have a look at this letter, sweetheart.
مهم.
Okay, that's a wow. Okay, and this is one of the things that we revised today. It's a wow lean because there's a fatha just before it. It's a wow sakin with a fatha. So this will become a how.
Okay.
Okay.
How.
Ma, ho,
ما حوله ذهب ذهب هبنوا رهم وتركهم في ظلمات تلا
Well done.
يبصرون.
Well done, mashallah. That was very nice, very, very nice. And that was quite a long verse as well. And you've done that very, very nice. Okay, so let me read, okay, and you follow, and let's see if we could make it a little bit more fluent, okay? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
مثلهم
مثلهم
كمثل الله.
كمثل الله.
This though,
can you say that again?
this though.
This though.
Well done. There's a dal with a kasra here, okay? There's a sakin scene, okay? And when we have a sakin scene and a mutaharik letter, we drop the two letters, which there's only two here, but we drop all the letters in between. So this is why this is a this though.
This though.
Well done. Qada
قد
naram.
نار.
Okay, now we're going to stop there for a second, okay, and now go back to here and try and make them more fluent. مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا.
مثله كمثل الذي استوقد نارا.
Okay, well done. Okay, in the mushaddad lam here, make sure that you press down on it, okay? كمثل الذي.
كمثل الذي.
Well done. مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا.
مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا. نارا.
Well done. Okay, this is 2 seconds, this timing here, okay? And now when we've started here, we've, it's quite a long stretch for a young child to get to here when they're first starting. So when you get to here, you get quite tired, so you just say, oh, naram, okay? But it is 2 seconds, and you must always pay attention to the timing, okay? So one more time. مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا.
مثله كمثل الذي استوقد نارا. نارا.
Okay, well done. فلما. Well done. 2 seconds on the meme, okay? فلما. أضاء. Well done. فلما أضاء. أطمع حوله. ذهب الله.
Can you say that again?
ذهب الله.
ذهب الله.
Well done. بنورهم. وتركهم في ظلمات. Okay, well done. Now I'm just going to take you back to, okay, and I'm just going to show everybody. Yeah, okay. Can you see that there's a kasratain here? Okay, and in these rules of work, we've taught you that when you see a kasratain and you're going to do a work, you make it into a sakin, okay? And if you go back here, and that's exactly what's happened here. We've chosen to make a waqf here, so we've made that into a spoon, okay, a sakin da, which is why we said mat, okay?
Okay. Ma.
Well done, okay. So, this is quite a long stretch for you to do, okay? So let's now break it down a little bit more, okay? One more time. Mathaluhum
مثلهم
kamathalil ladhis
كمثل الذي
توقد نارا
توقد نار
فلما
فلما
أضاءت
أضاءت
ما حوله
ما حوله
ذهب الله
ذهب الله
بنورهم
بنورهم
وتركهم
وتركهم
في ظلمات.
في ظلمات.
Okay, well done. Jazakumullah, sweetheart. You know all of the rules. When I heard you first time round, you were able to put everything together. What you need to do is just practice. You have all the basics there, and you just need to practice, okay? Jazakumullah, sweetheart, for your help. And let me find you in the list. You are N50?
N47.
N47. Okay, Jazakumullah, sweetheart. Let me have another Nasra, N32. Assalamu alaikum. N32. Assalamu alaikum. N32. No? Okay. A26. Assalamu alaikum, A26.
Walaikum assalam.
Okay, so this young lady finished here. Okay, so I would like you to now read from here, okay, from this verse, and to the end of the verse, please, yeah? And your Dawood first.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Please, darling. Hello? Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, then so if you could read please from the Zaha.
ذهب بلاه بنورهم وتركهم في ظلمات لا يبصرون.
Okay, well done. Okay, so let's now read and then we'll correct a couple of the things that you did, okay? This is a la mushaddad. We need to press down on it, okay? So, ذهب الله
ذهب الله
بنورهم
بنورهم
وتركهم
وتركهم
في ظلمات الله.
I didn't hear you.
Okay. في ظلمات الله.
في ظلمات الله.
Well done. Okay. The fee has to be stretched a little bit longer, darling. Okay. And I'm just correcting this particular thing here. When you first read it, you did the thin and then you did the la. Okay. If you remember from your idgham lesson, the assimilation lesson, this the noon sound completely disappears and you just say illa. Okay, you just join it straight onto the lam. So this is fi zulumatillah.
في ظلمات الله.
Yub. Okay, this is a ba and it's a spoon on top. This is a qalqala letter. Yubsirun.
يبصرون.
Well done. And one more time, see if you can get it all the way through. ذهب الله بنورهم
ذهب الله بنورهم
وتركهم
وتركهم
في ظلمات الله.
تركهم في ظلمات الله
يبصرون.
يبصرون.
Well done, mashallah. That second time was much nicer than the first time. You again know what you're doing. Mushaddad letters, always make sure you press down on the mushaddad letters, the time over the mushaddad letters. And remember your assimilation lesson, where if you have a la mushaddad coming straight after the noon, or a la mushaddad coming straight after a noon sakin, you drop the nasal sound and it joins straight on. Okay, tilla. Otherwise, it's the timings that you need to work on. And that's the common theme with everybody. Timings is what they need to work on. Jazakumullah, sweetheart. If I can have your ID again.
A26.
A26. Okay, excellent. Jazakumullah, sweetheart. Let me see if I can get this Nasra again. N32. Assalamu alaikum. N32. N32, are you there? No. Okay, let me try. Okay, I've just had a default, so let me find another Nasra if I can. N48. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, darling. Okay, so now we've come to here, okay, the end of a verse, and we're going to read from here. We've got the mim makluba within it, okay? So if you can try and remember how that goes and have a read, please. And you Dawood start off with.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سم بكم يم فهم لا
Okay, when you finish here, what would you say? Ooh, and then what? Okay, all right then, well done. Okay, now then, let me just go through and go through in here with you, okay? You have got essentially all of the knowledge there, okay? We just need to make you a little bit more fluent, and it's the timings that we've got to work on, okay? Here we've got a mim mushaddad, we've got the mim maqluba, okay? And what we do is, instead of doing the mun, yeah, with the n sound at the end, we take note of the mim is here and we do a sound, okay? Okay, sum and then mum, okay? Sum. Well done. And we do it that way because it's a mim mushaddad. The mim mushaddad has a 2-second gunna on it, okay? And then we do a 2-second gunna with the mim maqluba also. Summum bukmun.
buknum.
Okay. The timing. Work on your timing, okay? Summum bukmun.
Bukmum.
Okay, well done. And I don't know if anybody else noticed it, okay? When she got the timings of that spot on, the mum, the sum, mum, when they were equal, which is what they should be, it sounded very nice to the ears. Timing is very important, okay? Okay. Bukmun umyun
Bukmun umyun
fahum.
fahum.
Okay, and notice I just did fahum. I didn't do fahum. This is just a meme sakin, okay? And you just do a fahum.
Fahum.
Well done. And this is 2 seconds. La yar
Layar.
ji'un.
Ji'un.
Well done. Okay, so now let's put those things together. Even though it's a short verse, there's lots of things going on. And pay attention to the timings, okay? So I'll read the whole verse, and then if you listen carefully to the timings, and then you try and follow, okay? Summun bukmun umyun fahum la yarji'un.
Summum bukyun. Yun fahum layar yalar
Okay, take your time. La
layar
yar
layar
ji'un.
ji'un.
Well done. Okay, one more time. Okay, let's see if you can get it. Okay, Summum bukmun umyun fahum la yarji'un.
Summum bukyun.
No, bukmun
Bukmum. Bukmun.
Umyun.
Umyun. Fahum.
Okay, fahum.
Fahum.
Okay, don't stretch the meme out. Yeah, fahum.
Fahum.
Okay.
La
La is a madda. Yeah, la.
liar.
Okay, I've read it 3 times, sweetheart, yeah? This is an alif madda, okay? So this is la, okay? It's not la, okay? La, yar, ji'un.
Liar. Ji'un.
Well done, okay. You know your letters and you know what you're supposed to be doing. It's timing, and that's all parents will be hearing it and all students will be hearing it. You just need to work on the timing. Take your time as you're reading, okay? And if you practice and pay attention to the timing, eventually it comes, okay? Okay, Jazakumullah, sweetheart. I will. Jazakumullah. Okay, so let's try N32 again. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, N32 is there, but she's not responding. So A11. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, darling. Okay, so now we have come to here. So if you could read me from here, I would the first word, please.
I need a bit of help because I'm not as confident as doing it. Assalamu
Wa alaikum salam.
I'm sorry, maybe a minute.
A11, Tifl A11, are you there?
Yes, Assalamu
Wa alaikum salam. So if you could read from here, okay, Dawood first of all, and then from O.
Okay. I'm not as confident as reading, so can I have some help, please?
Okay, Tifl A11 is unable to come to the mic, I think. So I will just mute him. Okay, he's gone. Okay, so let me now find A24. Assalamu alaikum, A24.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Have I called you to the mic already, darling?
No.
No. Okay. Right then. So let's now, from here, if you could do the A'udhu Billahi, the Tawud, first of all, and then from here.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أو
Okay. This is a Waw lean, okay, because it's a Waw sakin. There's a Fatha before, so this is an Aw.
أو قصبي من
Okay. 1 second, okay. This is an Aw. Kasayyi.
أو قصي
Well done. And carry on.
بن
Well done.
بن ممس سما أفيه ظلمات
Okay. It says, okay. Well done.
تنرى دن با rakun yaja alu.
Okay, so you have stop there, okay. Let me just let me get my highlighter here for a moment, yeah, okay. This place here, you can do a waqf here as well, okay. There's a fair amount of Arabic that you're reading. Let me just show you 10 cases of waqf, okay. Let me just go down bear with me now. If the second last letter is sakin, then it must not be pronounced with a harakat while muting the last letter. Okay, so there is one case where if you have a sakin letter just before the end, okay, and now let me just go to where it was a dhamatayn. Where is it? Here we are. If the last letter carries a kasratain or a dhamatayn, as it is here, you mute it. Okay. Now, if I go back to here we've got a dhamatayn. If we wanted to make a pause, we could make a pause here and make this into a schoon. Okay, to become a sakin qaf, okay? And then we could pause here. They become two sakin letters, one after another. And we can do that. We can say barq. Okay? Barq.
Barqa.
Okay, well done. And I did the q at the end because it's a qalqala sound, okay? So let's just do a pause there and you have a read from here again and you follow from me, okay? أو كصيب
أو كصيب
من السماء.
من السماء.
Well done. أو كصيب من السماء.
أو كصيب من السماء
فيه
فيه
ظلمات. Okay, and then we look at what's coming on the next line. Is a wa mushaddad here, so there's idgham going on here. Tum wa radum wa barq. Well done. Okay, and from here, tum wa radum wa barq wa ra wa barq. Well done. Don't do barqa. Okay, there's no fatha at the end. It's just a qalqala. Okay, barqa.
Okay,
Okay, so one more time. أو كصيب من السماء.
أو كصيب من السماء
فيه
فيه
ظلمات ورعد وبرق.
زل
Ma
ظلمات
dum
بركة
barq.
بركة
Okay, well done. Okay, Jazakumullah, sweetheart, for your
جزاك الله.
Okay, thank you so much, sweetheart. Just practice. You've got the basics there. And if you've got an older sibling who can read, and if your parents are with you, ask them to help you to lead the way. Have you got a cold, sweetheart?
No.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, if you get your parents to assist you as well, and then you'll speed along quite nicely. Okay. Jazakumullah, sweetheart. Remind me of your ID again.
A24.
Jazakumullah. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play this recording one more time so that people can get a feel for it again.
مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا فلما أضاءت ما حوله ذهب الله بنورهم وتركهم في ظلمات
مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا فلما أضاءت ما حوله ذهب الله بنورهم وتركهم في ظلمات
ذهب الله بنورهم وتركهم في ظلمات لا يبصرون
ذهب الله بنورهم وتركهم في ظلمات لا يبصرون
صم بكم عمي فهم لا يرجعون
صم بكم عمي فهم لا يرجعون
أو كصيب من السماء فيه ظلمات ورعد وبرق يجعلون أصابعهم في آذانهم من الصواعق حذر الموت
أو كصيب من السماء فيه ظلمات ورعد وبرق يجعلون أصابعهم في آذانهم من الصواعق حذر الموت
والله محيط بالكافرين
والله محيط بالكافرين
يكاد البرق يخطف أبصارهم كلما أضاء لهم مشوا فيه وإذا أظلم عليهم قاموا
يكاد البرق يخطف أبصارهم كلما أضاء لهم مشوا فيه وإذا أظلم عليهم قاموا
ولو شاء الله لذهب بسمعهم وأبصارهم
ولو شاء الله لذهب بسمعهم وأبصارهم
إن الله على كل شيء قدير
إن الله على كل شيء قدير.
Okay, well done. Okay, so now let's have a student on the mic again. Let me try this Nasra again. N32. Assalamu alaikum, N32. Okay, I'm determined to get N32 onto the mic now. Okay, she's there. Let me see. A05.
Oh my!
Is that A30? Okay, A05. No. Okay.
Hello?
Okay, what's happening here? Okay. Co-host, are you there?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, my participant list is doing something quite strange. Would you be able to select a student for me?
Yeah, sure. A05.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum A05. Assalamu alaikum A05. Okay, if I could have a different student then please.
Yeah. A18.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, darling. Okay, from your from here we will read with you, okay? A'udhu billahi beforehand, please. Okay, Dawood.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yaj'alun na'atu bi'ahum fi azanihim
Okay, okay, well done. Okay, let's read through it with you, okay? Yaj'aluna.
Yaj'aluna
Well done. Asabi'ahum.
asabi'ahum
Yaj'aluna asabi'ahum.
Yaj'aluna asabi'ahum
Asabi'ahum.
asabi'ahum
Fi
fi
adadihim.
azanihim
Well done. Adhanihim.
azanihim.
Well done. Then we're going to join from one line to the next, okay? So you have to move your eyes quickly. Nasawa.
Nasawa
Well done. Adhanihim nasawa.
azanihim nasawa
Iqihada
ikihata
ralmaut.
ramot.
Well done. One more time, yeah? We're going to do a clever on the jim here, okay? Yaj'aluna asabi'ahum.
Yaj'aluna asabi'ahum
Okay, pay attention to your timings, darling, okay? Yaj'aluna asabi'ahum.
Yaj'aluna
asabi'ahum.
asabi'ahum
Fi adhanihim.
fi azanihim
Fi adhanihim.
fi azanihim
Okay. Him minasawa.
Hinsawa
Iqihadar al-maut.
ikahdurum.
Well done. Okay, just one mistake there. Yeah, it was a kasra here. Iqi. Okay, you read it as a fatha. Iqi. It was a kasra. Okay. Sweetheart, you just need to practice. Okay, do it as I've just done it with you. Do it bit by bit. Yaj'aluna, and then asabi'ahum fi adhanihim minasawa iqihadar al-maut. One more time, see if you can have a go.
Yaj'aluna asabi'ahum fi azinahim.
That's okay, carry on. Nihim
Nihim
Nas.
نصرائك الخزر الماء.
Okay, well done. Okay, now the third time you managed to get the timings on everything up to here perfect. Okay, so it was really, really nice. Okay, and sometimes that's just how it has to be. You have to take it bit by bit, and sometimes to get through a whole verse will take some time. But if someone leads you through it, yeah, you know the rules. Just some practice. Okay, that's all it is. Now stay with me, sweetheart. We're going to do the end prayer. Okay. Okay, so if you can read this with me, okay? Allahumma arhamni
اللهم ارحمني
bil Qur'anil Azim.
بالقرآن العظيم.
And the English translation, please.
Oh Allah, have mercy on me through the great Quran.
Excellent, mashallah. Okay, jazakumullah, sweetheart, for your help. Jazakumullah for everybody for attending. And I hope that the lesson today has been useful. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.